Right, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna talk about how to get your Epic certification with no experience. And we're talking about Epic System, the EMR um, company that builds software in the healthcare industry. So yeah, we're really gonna be focusing on um, 4 to 5 main options. Those are really, the main ways that you can get Epic certification if you don't have any prior experience with Epic. So before we get too far, let's first talk about, what is the Epic certification. So the Epic certification is really, it's a health electronic record certification that you get when you are um, in order to be able to be working on Epic systems. Um, so when Epic signs with a new hospitals, they have to train the employees, and at the end of the training, those employees that are going to be using Epic have to get certified in order to be able to support and using Epic systems. So Epic requires certification in order to be able to use the system. They just want to make sure that everybody that is going to be touching the software is properly trained, and this is why you have to get through the certification. And the common role when it comes to the Epic certifications involve, Epic analyst, application analyst, whatever the module name is, plus analyst. Usually, like you're gonna hear roles like Epic Beacon analyst, Epic Bridges analyst, Epic Lab analyst. There's a lot of different modules, and pretty much each module pretty much has their own way of naming their titles, and each client has their own ways of creating job titles. So the first number one option really in order to get certified with Epic will be get a job with Epic. I know this is not a advice that a lot of people do provide, but really that's the easiest way. Well, one of the ways to get I don't want to say the easiest because getting a job with Epic is very difficult, but it's one of the ways that you can get your Epic certification to go apply to a job with Epic. And Epic is located in Wisconsin. They don't usually provide remote opportunities, so you have to go work on site in order to work for them. So I believe during COVID they were doing hybrid, but they went back to from fully on site. Um, and they hire new grads, and they also hire people who already have experience in the field. And then, but you don't have to have experience with the system in order to get a job there, as long as you have some IT background. I mean, I'm assuming that you're in IT. This video is more geared to the IT folks that want to get into Epic, so I'm assuming that you have that IT background, or you are trying to build up your IT background. Then yes, you will want to apply to those IT jobs in Epic. Whatever solution you work on, they will definitely train you there, and then you should be able to get certified, because you're going to be probably one of the person creating or supporting the tool there. Um, and in order to apply there, usually, for entry level roles, no experience is needed. So that's something I want to emphasize as well. And your second option when it comes to getting certified with Epic would be apply at a hospital or a clinic that is already using Epic, right? It's much easier to get a job with a hospital or clinic that is already using Epic than to get a job at Epic. That's why I'd say getting a job with Epic is not the easiest option, but it's one of the options for sure to get certified. So when you go and apply at a job with a hospital that is already using Epic, you know, most of them would prefer if you already have Epic certifications, but they understand that not everybody does. So the one who already have the Epic certification will definitely have higher chance to get the job. But then if you do not, as long as you have some IT background or some healthcare related background, you definitely gonna have a chance to at least get an interview. So I will say you're gonna have to look for hospitals jobs, and you're gonna have to go into each portal and see if they use Epic, and the easiest way is just to go into the job search, into the job portal, and just search for Epic. Usually if they use Epic, and if they have any position available, you're gonna see some jobs showing up there. So this is kind of the second option, that the second way that you can go and go about getting your Epic certification. So then, even then, when you look for those jobs, you gotta make sure that you apply to the jobs that actually require you to have an Epic certification. Just because you're getting a job from an Epic client, like a hospital, doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna get certified. You got to make sure that the job that you are applying for requires to be Epic certified, even though you don't meet that requirement. But if you are given a chance, they're gonna provide that training for you. So this is why it's very important to make sure that you pay attention to that detail. And then the the path number 4 in order to get certified in Epic will be where working under a consulting firm that supports Epic clients. There is a lot of consulting firms out there that are supporting Epic clients. Usually, those consulting firms prefer if you already have they highly, actually, I will emphasize on that one. They highly prefer if you already have your Epic certification, because when you go and work as a consultant, they assume that you already know the job, you already know everything, so they're less likely willing to train you. So it's they really hope that when you come and start to work with them on projects, you plug and play. So but if you have a very heavy IT background or healthcare background, they can make exception to hire you and then train you on the spot, and then you will be doing the certification through their clients, through that consulting firm's clients, which more likely will be a hospital or a big clinic. So that's also another way. I know of a consulting firm. I won't give the name here, but I know of a consulting firm that does it. Now they don't do that often, but if you have experience with a different EMR like Cerner or Meditech or whatever, they will be willing to work with you. As long as you can prove that you can learn very quickly. They will be, if they have some needs in that space, they will be open to train you as well. As long as your job requires you to have that certification, they will do that. And the path number 5 is really for the people who are already working in the medical field. If you're already working for a healthcare institution and you don't have a Epic certification, but you would like to, really what you need to do is you really need to go talk to recruiters and hiring manager with your IT department. And usually within the IT department, they're going to have a lot of roles, a lot of positions that are required to use Epic certification in order to do their job. So I would recommend networking with identify the teams that support those Epic solutions, and try to get to know some of the team members, the managers, and then just ask questions. Hey, I've been working in this hospital for 5-10 years. This is what I do. I'm very interested about getting to know what you guys do, and then from there, you get to meet the team, and then if it's something that you really want to do, then you just have to keep maybe request to shadow, and then from there, when there is an opening, then you will likely be thought of. So yeah, I definitively, if you're already working with an hospital or a healthcare institution that uses Epic, you definitely halfway through getting certified, because they are gonna be more likely more open to hire you than to hire someone coming from the external, because you already know the healthcare side of things, because you're working in healthcare institution. So so that requirement is already met, and then and they can train you right there without having to pay without having to spend more money on hiring someone new. They can just maybe give you 5 hours a week, or 2 or 3 hours a week, to shadow with them, and then after a couple months or whatever, then if they have an opening, then they might be hoping to give you that chance. So yeah, Epic certification is very valuable. If you have an Epic certification, you always can have a job. That's pretty much guaranteed. There's a lot of hospitals using Epic. There's a lot of hospitals signing with Epic as their EMR. A lot of companies are switching from legacy EMRs to more modern digitalized EMRs, and Epic is definitively in the forefront of that. They've been acquiring a lot more clients. I've seen a lot of hospitals switching from using those legacy EMRs and going into Epic. So definitely Epic is definitely the present and in the future of healthcare, and then and it's gonna keep growing. So yeah, with AI coming up as well, definitely you want to make sure that you stay up to um, up with the trend on the healthcare IT world. So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any questions, as far as getting certified with Epic, let me know. I've gone through a certification process myself. I am Epic certified, and then yeah, so I'll definitely recommend. um, I can give you some tips. I had became Epic certified a while back, and definitely I can share some insight. Yeah. Thank you for watching.